You've heard people talk about the fight or flight response, right? But they're leaving out the other response, and it's the most dangerous response you could have. And in this video, you're gonna learn what it is and what to do about it. All right, let's do this. Kevin Daniels here with Bully Defense 101. Fight or flight are just two of the three responses. It's actually fight, flight, or freeze. And freeze is the worst one, especially if you're being bullied. I mean, think about a deer. A deer might run from the mountain lion, right? Flight. It might run away from the mountain lion, and it might even fight the mountain lion if it's cornered. The deer will lower its antlers and use its hooves, whatever it can, if it's cornered by the mountain lion. It will also freeze, right? If the deer sees a mountain lion walking through the forest, the deer will freeze, and it might be able to keep the mountain lion walking on right by them without seeing them because the deer has camouflage. But we don't have camouflage. If the bully sees you and they start going at you, freezing is not an option. There's an interesting study by Karen Healy and the University of Queensland, Australia, and they basically identify three different types of victims to bullies. And the first victim is the one that they call the pacifist. And in this study, the pacifist is not a good term. It's actually a bad term. It's usually, right? It's usually got a good connotation, but the pacifist basically freezes. They stop. They don't do anything, and they let the bully beat on them, and they don't fight back. The bully has no consequences. There's no punishment. There's no repercussions to the bully. So the bully comes back the next day, and they know they can bully that kid again, and then the next day after that, and the next day after that, and never receive any consequences. And the kid that freezes when they get attacked by the bully and they don't fight back, I think is the worst kind of victim. And I was that kid. I was the kind of kid that wouldn't fight back. I didn't know how to fight back, and I paid a price for it. I always wanted to learn martial arts. I always wanted to learn how to defend myself, but I was even too afraid to walk into a martial arts studio or a self-defense studio. I was too afraid even to do that. I finally got into self-defense and martial arts later on in life when I was an adult, but I really could have used it when I was a kid. It really could have changed everything for me, right? And the problem is, I believe most of the kids that are the type of kids to get bullied are usually the kids that are not naturally aggressive or they don't like confrontation. And I think they usually fall into that category of being the ones to freeze. And that's the worst response there is. But let me tell you what you should do if you are being attacked by a bully, if there is a bully giving you a hard time. Number one, you need to physically move. You need to create distance. The more distance you can create from the bully, the better. For example, if they throw the hardest punch in the world, but they miss you by just an inch, it won't hurt a bit, right? You won't even feel it. So 1 inch is enough. 5 feet is even better, and 25 feet is even better yet, right? Keep moving, creating all the distance you can. Number two is show confidence. Even if you feel a little nervous on the inside, if you could just look a little more confident and act a little more confident, that might be just enough to keep the bully walking on by you instead of walking into you, right? Confidence is the number one way to help stop a bully problem before it even starts, because the bully does not want to pick a fight. The bully wants to pick on someone they think won't fight back, right? Like we talked about, they want to find the victim that's going to freeze. So act confident, walk confident, talk confident, and hopefully that'll be just enough, again, to keep the bully moving on by you instead of into you. Number three, verbally try to diffuse the situation, right? Use your negotiation skills. Be the diplomat. Try and get everyone to cool down, calm down, and hopefully you can talk this out and walk away, right? Calm the situation down, diffuse it. Number four, if diffusing the situation and calming it down doesn't work, then verbally, time to be a loudmouth and raise your voice and take command of the situation and take command of the bully verbally. If you raise your voice, sometimes that might be just enough to make the bully think that you're confident and a challenger and you'll stand up for yourself. It might even help attract the attention of an adult close by, like a teacher, the principal, the security guard. And raising your voice might get their attention and bring them over here to help you out too. So number four, verbally raise your voice if it comes to that. Number 5, you gotta face your fears. I've seen some advice that you should turn your back on the bully and ignore them and they'll give up. And that's the worst possible advice you could get. You never want to turn your back on the bully. You never want to turn your back on someone that might attack you physically. You can't defend what you can't see coming. So you got to keep the bully in your eyes. You got to pay attention to them, at least in your peripheral vision, as you move out and move away, right? Number 6, if it comes to it, fight back. You need to defend yourself if it comes to that, right? If the bully throws the first punch, you should absolutely do all you can to defend yourself and stand up for yourself, right? You don't want to be the one that freezes. You don't want to be the pacifist that just crumples to the ground and lets the bully beat on them. You got to fight back and give them some repercussion, give them some consequences, and hopefully the next day they won't want to try and start anything with you if they've already paid a price, right? And lastly, learn self-defense. You know, it's one of the best ways to build confidence, and confidence can stop a fight before it even starts. All right, if you got some good stuff out of today, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and please feel free to share it with another parent that you think it might be able to help out. And check out the other videos on this channel, and hopefully they'll give you some safety and security and some peace of mind. Go make it a great day.